The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma and The Real Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up now for back bay striped bass and ask for your free gift with any purchase.
Well, the creeks, sod banks, and up the rivers continue to offer your best opportunity, especially in the central and South Jersey region. And as we're finding, more of those big stripers are getting reported along that stretch of the southwest coast along the Delaware River. I'm Jim Hutchinson with a New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. Now, last week we showed you that 44-incher for Steve Polidoro. Finally got in touch with Steve. He reported, that was reported by Shags Bait and Tackle and also Fish Heads. And Steve told me that 44-incher went just about 40 pounds, took a bloodworm down near the Pennsville area of the Delaware River. Over the weekend, Shags had another big one, a 43.5-inch fish. Dave at Absecon Bay, he also jumped all over that, found out that that was a 33-pounder. And he said that was taken near the Cohansey River. So again, that Delaware bite is starting to intensify. Bloodworm's still the best way to go. We spoke with Nino Averza and friends, Ron and Joe. They set up on the upper Delaware just last week for stripers from 24 to 28 inches. And meanwhile, Nino told me there were bunker all over the place. And we're hearing the same thing from down as far as Delaware Bay, mouth of Delaware Bay, on up into the Raritan as well. In fact, in addition to bloods for stripers and perch, some of the shops like Old Inlet in Delaware, they're starting to carry some of the fresh bunker as well. So you'll start seeing that. I saw that Dennis at Murphy's Hook House mentioned the same thing, that he was thinking about getting them. Now we move from the Cape May County area up through Brigantine, Andy at Riptide. He says the bloods are still the way to go up the rivers and creeks. Zach and crew were out, saw a lot of rods bent up the Mullica River recently. The keepers, tougher to come by, but you put your time in, they're certainly there. And again, they're taking bloods, and those perch are up there as well. Andy let us know that he's still looking for his first striped bass, his first beach brigantine striped bass. He's got a prize for that. Meanwhile, he's got more to offer. His striper and bluefish tournament is now underway. That's going to go on throughout the month of May. Now, Toms River, we've moved farther to the north. Toms River continues to produce flounder and stripers. Murphy's reported some short bass hitting bloods and some small swimmers as well in the morning. Tim Grogan was throwing an X-Wrap recently, while Bob Cashin also had stripers and flounder in the Oyster Creek. Again, throwing those bloodworms. Moving farther north, Art Berkman keeps texting me all the time with all these photos that he's taken of these fish that he's taking from a secret spot somewhere up north with those Kitech plastics. In fact, that generated a little bit of YouTube discussion in the last couple of days, folks asking where and asking about the Hackensack. We did get what somebody said, Newark Bay, Arthur Kill area. Stripers are whacking plastics around the structure. So I would certainly think that the Hackensack is producing a few school-sized stripers as well. Don't forget, as we enter into the very first weekend of April, we get our tog fishery back in New Jersey. You've got 4 fish at 15 inches as of April 1st. Of course, Delaware continues to have their open season for blackfish. That's 3 fish at 15 inches. Of course, over in New York, you've got a closed season. So if somebody's fishing in those waters, you're running out of the Highlands someplace looking for blackfish, don't forget, just off the coast of New York, blackfish season is closed. Now, I know a lot of boats, the charter boats and party boats, are going to be giving those wrecks some pressure this weekend. So it's definitely a good weekend to jump back on the charter and party boat fleet. As they jump out there looking for some of those blackfish, you'll find the full rundown on who's sailing and who's splashing and who's running where. It's in the April edition of the Fisherman magazine. We just went to print this week a beautiful Tom Lynch bluefish cover. Look for that one in newsstands. A bluefish going airborne, whacking a tsunami popper. And again, that's all in your newsstands, your tackle shops now. You subscribers, of course, you've already received that copy. And we will also start getting you your weekly edition. We're back on our weekly schedule, folks. So subscribers are getting the magazine every week throughout the rest of the season. You know, I'll bring this up to you. Last year at this time, the first bluefish were already reported at Old Inlet, down there at Indian River. Now, looking at reports from last year, we found out that the first bluefish invasion in South Jersey and Delaware Bay happened around the 2nd week in April. If you think that we're only about a week off, a week earlier this season, we're just about at that time. When that bluefish invasion kicks in, you subscribers, you'll get it. when you get that weekly edition of the Fisherman magazine. We've got these water temperatures, warmer weather patterns. It should really start kicking that bluefish and striper onslaught into gear pretty soon. As far as this weekend, mostly warm temperatures, but we do have some rain in the forecast throughout the region for Friday into Saturday. In fact, if you're out on Saturday and it starts to rain, if you're looking for something, you're in the Brick area, you might want to stop by Jersey Shore Marina on Route 70 in Brick. They're having an open house this Saturday and Sunday. Of course, you can stop by any day. Also, the Pequest Open House and Flea Market that was originally scheduled for this weekend has been pushed back until the weekend of June 3rd and 4th. If you want more information on that Pequest Open House, we've got it in the weekly edition next week of the Fisherman magazine, but you can also call Jessica at 908-637-4125, extension 115. Now, after all those calls, don't forget to call your marina. It's time to splash the boat because the action is really starting to jump into gear. Warmer water temperatures, we're starting to get those bass moving, and I'm telling you, I feel that we're only about a week or two away from a good onslaught of bluefish. As soon as we find out, we're going to share it with you. We'll talk to you again next week here at thefisherman.com.
The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma and the Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up now for back bay striped bass and ask for your free gift with any purchase.